we watched Sonic the Hedgehog, the 2020 movie.
Oh,
I'm not going to call it an adaptation.
That was 2020?
That was 20. It was one of the last movies that was in theaters before they closed.
Dang.
And like almost theaters were shut down for the first, like 3 or 4 months we had here. And then it was such a slow rollout afterwards because everything got like compressed into like 2021. Real weird.
I'm trying to remember what my last movie was before COVID. It wasn't Bloodsport or whatever, Bloodshot. It was... I'll look it up.
I also need to know this now because I remember that mine was something that was kind of not this. Okay. My last movie of 2020, before going back to the cinemas in later 2020, I watched Onward, and then right before that was The Invisible Man.
It might have been Invisible Man. I think it was New Mutants.
Seriously? That's how you ended?
I think that was...
That sucks.
I think that was my last one before COVID.
A lot of people's was Bloodshot or Sonic, and that is just hilarious for me. Anyways, that is just a little thing. So this is the first film in what Wikipedia is calling the Sonic Cinematic Universe.
Oh my gosh.
It is directed by Jeff Fowler, and it is his feature directorial debut, written by Pat Casey and Josh Miller. It stars Ben Schwartz as the voice of Sonic, alongside James Marsden, Tika Sumpter, and James Carey, also known as Jim or Jimothy. The film follows Sonic, a blue hedgehog who can run supersonic speeds, who teams up with local town sheriff Tom Wachowski to stop the sinister mad scientist Dr. Robotnik. Okay. Jacob, please tell me something so I don't go on a rant.
As we noted during our viewing, it was like watching a Redditor's wet dream, which only explains why they changed Sonic's look, because it was pretty much Reddit that was so angry about it.
True. So
I think that's the biggest driving factor, is because that was the crowd they were trying to appeal with this movie.
Well, I mean, the Sonic fandom
is my age.
Yeah, it's a very strange sub-community because they hate the franchise because it's been dog shit for like 10 years now or whatever. So they've turned to
they grew up in
alternative
the 90s
adult methods for entertainment.
Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
And that was the last good game, allegedly.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
You have to sneak that in every freaking episode.
Yeah. Dude, I loved those ads, and I love the Sega Genesis. Anyways, to address the stupid design change, I think the thing we kept coming back to while watching this, aside from just general commentary, was it felt like the design change made everything worse, kind of. Because clearly they had to update the character model, but they weren't able to change the character's like animation rig.
Lighting.
Yeah, so they just had to go, crap, they slapped the new coat of paint on it, and they weren't able to like redo a lot of other stuff, like change the lighting or like blend it better with the general environment stuff.
Right.
So it felt kind of... Well, the design in of itself was actually very like well rendered and looks phenomenal. He felt fake, which is so weird because if you pause it, he's still like a very high like polygon like model, and it's very well textured, but he just doesn't look right in the environment.
It doesn't
the fully
look right
CG
with the
stuff
rest of the
at the beginning actually looked really good. And I would argue the ending bit where it is all CG again, whilst to something I despise in existence, it did look much better.
I don't know if it's connected or not, but the rest of the movie also looked like it had a heavy filter on it. People didn't look right. It
looked almost deep fried at some points.
Yeah.
The lighting was really weird and bad, and then the color correction was really inconsistent.
Extremely. There wasn't one person whose skin looked healthy.
Yeah, it was.
No matter the color of the person, like everything looked cried.
It was just so, yeah, it was weird. Especially because a lot of the rest of the film is, like, actually really desaturated. Like, the car chase and stuff, it's all really boring and gray and there's nothing to it.
Yeah.
Weird. So this does one of my least favorite things in terms of animated character meets real world, whereas it just basically pertains around the humans. The whole movie is about the stupid live-action humans that no one cares about because they don't have the money to make it about the animated character that people actually care about. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is the only movie that does not do this. Every other movie does this, particularly the Smurfs. And that's the first thing I was thinking of while I was watching this. Like, this feels like watching the Smurfs again.
I'm so glad I haven't seen that.
Don't do that. Don't do it.
They had the audacity to make another one.
It's like 3 or 4 of them now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like, Sonic, I think, was actually voice acted fairly well.
Yep.
Ben Schwartz gets under my skin in, I think, the funny way. He's really annoying. Like, the actor. He's fucking annoying in everything. But he is very funny. He has good delivery. He's lively. He's having a blast.
I gave you the hairy eyeball because under the skin in a good way sounds very sexual.
I like it when he touches my nerve endings. But the character of Sonic, whilst interesting, I guess, inherently, and then also in presentation in this movie, but it's given, like, no focus and very little screen time in comparison to shots where you can see, like, the top of his head sticking out of, like, frame because we're talking to the cop now for, like, 20 minutes or whatever. Like, it just... This is a really expensive movie, and it still feels like this was, like, a first feature for, like, a film student. Obviously,
I wouldn't go that far.
Almost. With the exception of, obviously, Jim Carrey requires fuck tons of money.
I think it was more the budget got dinged really bad with having to reskin Sonic.
Probably.
So if they didn't have to do that, it wouldn't have felt like a film project, a student project film. So
real weird. Even if it looked, like, visually perfect the whole time, the story is still kind of garbage.
yes, it's pretty lame. It's a cross-country road trip.
Because Sonic, you know, the fast one.
Yeah.
His legs
run.
don't work for 5 minutes.
No.
And then they start working again immediately. And he's like, I don't know where I'm going. And instead of giving him I'm gonna sound like CinemaSins, the people I hate the most in all of time, but, like, legit ass, he runs to the state they're going to and gets lost, so he comes back instead of just giving him a map or something. So then they have to have a road trip so we can have, like, car chases and explosions. Just very... I don't know who this is for consistently. It feels stupid, like a kids movie, like a low effort, the kids will watch it because funny colors, but Sonic's demographic skews older, and just video game movies in general skewed at least, like, tweens. This movie feels like if a 6-year-old watched it, they'd find it funny, and everyone else is cringing at it.
I think its audience was for kids. It's like, hey, let's reintroduce Sonic to kids. And
because we can't give them a good game.
Going to make it interesting for their parents who have to bring their kids to the movies, because those are the guys that actually love this character. So it's kind of a mix of triggering sentimentality and trying to invite the next generation, and it all just kind of
very flat on its face. Jim Carrey was having a ball, though. That was fun. He was fun, and not just like, ooh, Jim Carrey be weird. He was,
and apparently
to an extent,
he's retiring.
What?
I saw a headline yesterday, I think, saying he did Sonic 2 and now he's retiring. He ain't doing no more.
Damn, bro. He's going out like Sean Connery in a butthole of a movie.
Which one was that?
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh!
A really good comic with a wonderful concept. That
I was really happy forgetting about that movie.
Same. You're welcome.
I don't like you.
I know you don't. This was fun with a drink or two, because we were talking smack the whole time.
We were 2 drinks deep. For sure.
That, like, it just... The jokes weren't very funny. Sonic himself just dicking around was way more entertaining than the rest of the movie.
Right.
The humans are boring and no one cares. Dr. Robotnik was... I don't know how the character is in the games because I've only played a handful of them. I'm more just familiar with, the pop culture of Sonic.
Right.
So, like, Jim Carrey was having fun. He seemed diabolical and shit. Okay, cool. Just give him the funny mustache. And then they gave him the funny mustache, and I was very happy.
There wasn't a whole lot to take away from this. Like,
no, it was short.
It looked okay until it didn't, and then it looked very ugly. The story was boring.
I wish this was fully CG, the full just animated movie.
Yes.
Because whilst not the most original style,
you keep saying whilst.
It is a word. It is a conjunction.
You keep using it though.
What's your fuck me?
I love Schoolhouse Rock.
That's so old. Well, the opening sequence, whilst very rushed and weird, and the animated style isn't terribly original, it does work, and it is fun, and it is actually colorful, not just in, like, we turned up the saturation. Like, it's fun. And if this was just a fully CG Sonic adventure, this would have been way better. The only... Fuck, I had one thing. The only very genuine, that's actually bloody cool thing that they did was turning the rings into portals. I think that was cool.
I didn't know how I felt about that when we first saw it, but it makes sense. They had to do something with the rings besides just having to collect them. You need a reason to collect them all. So, they're saying that they have magical powers and they can teleport you or something is a fun idea that I'm sure will be used even more in the sequel.
Oh yeah, because we sent Jim Carrey to the weird mushroom world.
Yeah.
Oh no. That's about it. Okay, so video game movie rankings.
Oh my gosh, we don't have time for this.
No, just in general, where roughly does this stack up?
Honestly, it did not cause very much physical pain. So I would put it near the top.
For sure. Like, probably top 5. There's only a couple of video game adaptations I would call good, and then everything else is mid at best. And this is somewhere in the mid area.
Mid to good. Yeah, I can get it.
It's like, fine. I'll probably never watch it again unless someone at a party is like, yo, let's get drunk and watch Sonic, and then I'll love it. Because they put the Sonic sketch in it. I screeched. I was excited. They did the sketch of Sonic.
Yes.
Deep cut into deep Sonic internet lore.
Wow.